Thank you, Scott, for all the good work and the tremendous gathering together. I'll be talking to you about a subject that probably touches every other person, either wives, daughters, mothers, neighbors, friends, or otherwise. And that would be the subject that in general we refer to as kind of a mismanaged breast care in the US and overall. Most of the companies, most of those who develop technologies in breast care actually are looking for finding breast cancer. It is very similar to kind of catching a football game from the second half, meaning that the cancer is there and they are looking for find it. So we kind of adopted a little different approach by detecting marker, not biologically, but rather technologically, that leads to malignancy. So right now, the breast clinical care cycle, as you probably know, is a kind of a catch-up game with cancer. Women have to wait until the age of 40, and then being screened by X-ray mammography, in most of the cases by ultrasound, and both technologies are inconclusive by their findings in general, and then a woman is referred to biopsy, which 85% of all the biopsies proven to be unnecessary, and MRI, which is taken off the market because of the side effects of gadolinium. So this insufficient clinical care cycle leaves actually two populations. One, the population of women under the age of 40, which is completely unmet. And the second is population of women, especially those with dense breast tissue above the age of 40, which is underserved. So we are going to fix that, and I'm going to show you the same clinical care cycle once we have introduced our technology down in the future. This mismanagement of this market overall has caused 50,000 women in this country, in the US, to die every year from breast cancer, with a morbidity of about 270,000 women every year in this country. It's amazing. These are amazing numbers. The World Health Organization has projected that by end of 2020, there will be 2,700,000 women affected by breast cancer every year. So this is a growing trend in the morbidity when the mortality is somewhat steady because of the screening technologies out there. The main vacuum in this whole paradigm is the fact that there is no viable way to address breast density, and there is no viable of screening women under the age of 40. That vacuum that right now is completely unmet. These are actually the byproducts of this mismanagement of breast care. Actually, the newly diagnosed breast cancer cases as of 2019 has topped lung cancer, prostate cancer, and colorectal altogether. That's a kind of a flashing red light to everyone, with 21% of the cases of breast cancer overall. The other finding that was based on several years of advocacy and by the National Cancer Institute, the next statistics actually speaks of about 62% of the cases of breast cancer being confined, and I refer to this one, being confined to a primary site. In other words, they are talking about DCIS, a disease that is the most prevalent disease in breast cancer, called ductal carcinoma in situ. It's a man-made disease in our mind, which starts in the milk ducts. The same statistics show that if you find those confined to site cancers, the 5-year relative survival rate is at 99%. That is the motivation behind what we have developed. So we are after finding DCIS and following it through. Very similar to those of you who know coronary disease, very similar to the idea of coronary disease. So these are the 4 categories of breast cancer, most prevalent one being the DCIS. And this is actually the process that is supported by National Cancer Institute as of 2017. This is a normal lumen, very similar to coronary artery. there is a process that we don't know exactly what happens to a normal lumen before it becomes hyperplagic, but we do know that once this process has been initiated, it has a pattern to DCIS. This is called the confined cancer to site. Now, not every DCIS progresses to invasive carcinoma, but if it does, through this microinvasion process, it actually lays the ground for cancerous tumor to grow. This is a timeline. This process takes anywhere from 7 to 10 years to develop. Therefore, screening women at the age of 40 becomes all of a sudden a meaningless concept when the cancer actually starts way beforehand. So our objective is just to define to detect this inception and just follow this through, reaching a point very similar to coronary disease that the radiologists make a conscious decision, a confident decision to make an action. That action could be either zapping the tissue by ultrasound, freezing it by cryotemperature, or removing it by biopsy. How we do this? We actually combine ultrasound. Now, for those investors in the audience, don't be kind of scared by us using ultrasound. We are not developing a diagnostic technology, but rather we are using ultrasound as a carrier, as a technology that penetrates through the body without discomfort, without radiation, without almost any limitation, not to say about age. So we are actually taking a conventional ultrasound system, a high-end one, add to it a robotic arm, then we obtain the ultrasound image, but we add what we refer to as a coded excitation, which completely puts us in control of what we project to the body, which is in form of acoustic force, and what we can expect in return. The return would be actually an image of the progression of the DCIS as an acoustic image rather than as a passive listening device or passive imaging device. Then we collect the information and then we co-register that to the B-mode image, giving the radiologist a complete image of the whole breast in real time. So when a woman goes home, she takes actually a report with her. IDUS has 2 modes of operation, a 5-step process, less than 10-minute exam. So what we do, we want to actually, in summary, what we want to do is finding the phenomenon before it becomes cancer, and that makes it into preventive screening. The technology has a strong patent portfolio. 8 patents have already been issued, 6 pending. We have just about 2 dozen in the pipeline. And I ask for you to push that button and raise the volume. And this is how it is done in practice.
Introducing ITIS, Image-Based Dynamic Ultrasound Spectrography, the world's first bimodal real-time imaging and spectrography system for the complete automated detection, location, and classification of breast microcalcifications. The presence of certain types of microcalcifications in the breast can be an early indicator of breast cancer. A screening procedure using the ITIS technology can be completed in just under 10 minutes, providing important clinical information in a manner which is safe, comfortable, radiation-free, and cost-effective. During the exam, a disposable ring containing specialized receiving sensors is positioned around the breast. Held in place by a thin layer of biocompatible adhesive, the sensor ring firmly couples the sensors to the breast. The disposable ring is available in a range of sizes to accommodate each woman's anatomy. With the patient in a supine position, a hands-free automated ultrasound scanner is moved onto the breast, gently pressing downward. A sequence of traditional ultrasound B-mode images is acquired, providing a complete 3D volumetric image of the whole breast. Once the B-mode images have been obtained, the integrated system is switched to the ITIS excitation mode. The transducer delivers a proprietary sequence of low-intensity acoustic forces to the breast. If microcalcifications or other potential abnormalities are present, they respond to the incoming force, and the response is recorded by the sensors embedded in the ring. Quantason's advanced signal processing algorithms analyze the received signals. The results are then superimposed on the B-mode images, providing an additional level of detection. IDUS is compatible with traditional handheld ultrasound scanners as well, facilitating not only early detection, but also precision biopsy guidance. Quantason's IDUS technology is ideal for both screening and follow-up monitoring, and IDUS leads to better treatment, especially in cases with dense breast tissue, which present one of the most significant challenges in breast care. Quantason, inventing the future of...
These are some of those results. These are for the first time I displayed these results. These are scanned, C-scanned slices by slices of breast from the nipple down to the chest wall. Once you have this volume of data, then using real artificial intelligence and holography technologies based on the true data that we generate would be possible. So what I showed you earlier now becomes a clinical care cycle that addresses the unmet population of women under the age of 40. Now they can be screened easily, and a robust adjunct to X-ray mammography if anyone at that time would need mammography. This process by itself saves lives, saves a lot of money for biopsies that are not needed, for MRIs that are so expensive for the entire population. The global market for breast imaging in general is about $150 billion, with $25 billion in the US. This excludes all the treatment, the post-ops, and the other costs. So the market is giant. Nobody has this technology before. We are pioneering actually in breast screening for cancer prevention. We have a defined roadmap in 2 different steps. We have invested already 100,000 hours until now to actually define the physics of this whole process. And we are en route to the first milestone, which would be a pilot study in order to prove clinical efficacy. And the second milestone is a clinical trial is within 30 months. We are raising $30 million in 2 tranches, starting with 10 for IP protection, for translation of preclinical settings to clinical settings, 2 rounds of clinical trials, and to pre-commercialization. We project to sell the technology to one of the big players in the marketplace rather than us becoming a manufacturer of ultrasound systems. These are our team. I have 50 patents on my name. I have developed 5 medical technologies, sold 2 of them already. Dr. Mendelsohn from Chicago, she is the co-author of the guidance for breast imaging in the country and quite frankly in the world. She's the medical director. Dr. Pressman is the past president of American College of Radiology and current chief of radiology at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. We have clinicians, business people, legal people, and of course, technology experts. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be showing some of the clinical or preclinical results at the breakout session if anybody is interested. Thank you.